COVID vaccines have been linked to slight increases in heart, blood, and brain disorders. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about a study of nearly 100 million people that concludes COVID-19 vaccines have been linked to slight increases in heart, blood, and brain disorders. Now, there's a lot we got to get through. First things first, some are going to try to downplay the reality of this study's findings, talking about, oh, well, out of all these people, only 200 cases of Guillain-Barré were found. This is reaching at best. Well, look, if it's reaching and it's not really that bad and all vaccines have some kind of side effects, then why would they put the study out and say that it does lead to a slight increase in heart, blood, and brain disorders? Why would they do that if the findings were negligible at best? Obviously, there's something here. This is not me saying it. This is the study. Again, 100 million people they studied, and they looked for quite a few things like Guillain-Barré, like heart problems, myocarditis, pericarditis, blood clots, things of this nature. The very things we've been saying from the very beginning since 2020, when the vaccine was first being spoken about. The first thing that many of us said was, hey, it's a brand new thing. You might want to wait a while before you get it because we don't know what the side effects are. And again, some are going to say these are negligible side effects. Well, what if you get one of these quote unquote negligible side effects and your face is drooped down, you get in a blood clot, you keel over and kick the bucket at 25 years old? What if it's you? Okay, now I'm not saying don't get it. If you want to get the vaccine, knock yourself out. It's your body, your choice, right? Free world. But there are some risks involved, and it's not me saying it. These are facts that have been uncovered in the study. Now let's get to some articles. Let's get to some news clips. I will link to everything I'm talking about right now in the description. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. You see this article right here. We are on New York Post. COVID vaccines linked to quote unquote slight increases in heart, blood, and brain disorders. Okay.
99 million people worldwide who were vaccinated were looked at. And what the researchers did, and this research and this data was published in a journal last week called Vaccine. And what they did was they specifically looked for 13 different medical conditions. For example, they looked for myocarditis, which is inflammation of the heart. They looked for blood disorders that caused blood clots. They looked for neurological disorders, like, for example, Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is a disorder of the nervous system. Then they looked for other types of diseases as well. And what they found was that there was an increase in these types of medical conditions after taking the vaccine. And even though it was a small increase, this is important information because, for example, if you have a history of blood clots, you want to talk to your doctor before you go out and get this vaccine that could make you more prone to developing another blood clot, which could be life-threatening. Or if you have a history of inflammation in your heart or inflammation in your brain or your spinal cord, you need to be aware of these side effects.
It's very simple. Now, again, we've been saying this for, I feel like years now, beating the drum of this thing. And people say, oh, you guys tinfoil hat wearers, just go get the vax, shut up, go do it. If I could be in charge, I'd make everybody get the vax. Remember those people? Well, what do we say now? Like, just go ahead and get it, be forced to get it. What if you were injured by one of these vax because you were required to get it due to your job? What happens then? Can you sue? Now let's get to this video right here to see how they try to characterize it.
It's a question so many people have wondered. Does the COVID-19 vaccine have an impact on my health? Now, the largest COVID study ever conducted is providing some answers. A link between the vaccine and heart and brain disorders has been uncovered.
Researchers with Global COVID Vaccine Safety Project reached this conclusion after collecting data from nearly 100 million people across 8 different countries. Today, I spoke with a local medical expert who says the COVID vaccine still outweighs the risks. We also talked to everyday people about their attitude toward getting the shot.
I'm going through a lot of mental and physical things now after, and it wasn't like that before.
So this person may have been injured by the shot. Okay, now a lot of people, mainstream media world, they don't want to talk to these people because that's going to discourage regular everyday folks from going out there and getting the shot. If they're already kind of on the fence, maybe they don't want to do it. This may discourage them from doing it. And again, it's your choice. I'm not here to tell you one way or the other. I'm just here to give you all the information that I have.
Elizabeth Foster says she questions if the COVID-19 vaccine she took in 2020 has anything to do with the decline she says she's experiencing in her health. Foster still digesting the new data released by the Global COVID Vaccine Safety Project, which studied nearly 100 million vaccinated individuals across 8 countries. The report specifically looked at the adverse effects of the Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca vaccines, finding the following. The study links vaccines to slight increases in neurological, blood, and heart-related conditions like myocarditis, pericarditis, and Guillain-Barré syndrome. For instance, out of the more than 99 million people studied, researchers observed only 190 cases of Guillain-Barré syndrome in people who took the vaccine.
See, they're going to try to downplay it and say, well, it's only 190 people. It's not that big of a deal. You know, out of 100 million people, only 200 people got Guillain-Barré. And if you had a stroke and you died from a blood clot, well, it was only a few of you guys. And to those who said there was going to be a risk, don't listen to them. Although you did get it and you did have an adverse effect, a side effect, you had a stroke, maybe you died. It's okay because it's only a handful of people.
Researchers stress the association between the vaccines and adverse side effects does not prove the vaccine was the root cause for the illness.
But we've been saying this. We've been saying that these things are happening for years now. And now the study comes out and says you guys are right. To the degree in which it happens is not necessarily as important as the fact that it is happening as a result of the vax. They're saying that right there in the report.
And I think what this study confirmed is pretty much what other smaller studies have said in the past. And that's the following. Number one, vaccines have risks. I think only a fool would say vaccines don't have risks.
Dr. Jonathan Cantor, who's an adjunct scholar at the Penn Center for Clinical Epidemiology and Biostatistics, reviewed the study and still contends the benefits of the vaccine outweigh the risks. Cantor says the new research shouldn't erode anyone's trust in the vaccine, but instead prompt them to think about their own personal medical condition and their own need for protection.
Isn't that what she just said in the previous video? Isn't that what many of us say? Hey, if you fit into this category, maybe you shouldn't do it. If you fit into that category, maybe it makes sense for you. To me personally, that's not what I'm into at all. I'm 40 years old, never had a flu shot, so I'm a different kind of person. All right. But obviously, there are risks with this thing. And I don't think we're going to know the full scope of it until years later, just like with asbestos and other chemical compounds that were brand new at one point and seen as miracles. Now they're seen as poisons.
What do you say to those folks who might have said, hey, we knew the vaccine was dangerous all along? Now here's the proof.
There's no such thing as a drug that has an effect without a side effect. So everything has potential risk. The problem is, what is the risk of the thing that you are trying to prevent? And that's where it comes into play. So for example, if you have for parents, right, if you've got a healthy 3-year-old who's had COVID 4 times already, well, then I'd say, I don't know what the benefit is that you're going to get from getting that vaccine today. But if you tell me that you've got a 84-year-old in a nursing home that somehow came out of a time machine and is now entering the world in 2024 and has never had a COVID vaccine, well, for that person, I'd say, well, then we really have to think about whether a COVID vaccine makes sense for them.
Now, I got a question, Mr. Adjunct, doctor, person, researcher. How about these 18-year-old young men getting the shot in the military and then they develop side effects later? Should they have been getting it? Should that have been a requirement? Should it have been a thing that was mandated by employers, mandated by the federal government at one point? Should that have been a thing that happened? Because you made a big jump from a toddler to an 85-year-old in a nursing home who may already have comorbidities, being sick or whatever. What about the young people who were forced to get this? Should that have been a thing that was done? Young and healthy, no comorbidities? I mean, come on, what are we doing? But that's pretty much that. I will link to everything I'm talking about in the box. But as I close, I want to say this. I think that many of us who were skeptical have been vindicated. Am I going to say that everyone who gets the shot is going to have these adverse side effects? No. But we were seeing the side effects happen in real time. We saw it. And people, they called us crazy, tinfoil hat, conspiracy theorists. They called us all those names. Now we're vindicated. Fortunately or unfortunately, it is what it is. But now you have more information. So If you're thinking about getting the vaccine in the future, well, look at the study, read it for yourself, do your research. It's out there for you from the professionals, from real people, not just from ABL. I'm no medical professional. I'm just reading what they say and observing what's happening to people in real time every single day as a result of the vax. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on the vax? Are you still for it? Are you against it? Are you skeptical? Did the study sway you one way or the other? Did it confirm what you already were believing? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I'm not a vax person in general. I've not had any vaccination since I've been a little boy, probably in school, maybe like elementary school. That's about as far as I can remember. I'm talking like 4th or 5th grade, maybe. I'm not really sure. I've never had a flu shot in my entire life. I don't do these things. And if I'm not going to get this old flu shot, been around for a long time, I'm definitely not going to get this brand new thing they just created the other day. Why would I do that to myself? But if you want to do it, knock yourself out. But everything is not for everyone, which is why there shouldn't have been a mandate on this thing from the very beginning. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.